Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Deep Dive, sponsored by Maple Ridge Farms. I'm getting that in before I forget about it, because I will forget about it. Today, we have Nicole Baker with us from American Solutions for Business. Nicole, say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Yes, like you said, I am with American Solutions for Business. I've been in the industry 5 years now, and I just kind of fell into it by accident after college. I just needed a job, and I took a job, any job. And I started in operations at another distributorship and moved into sales over the years. And just a few months ago, joined American and loving it. So
Awesome, awesome. It always amazes me how many people wander into the industry. I
it's
myself
all by
also
accident.
just
Yeah.
sort of, I saw an ad online while I was looking for a job. I was like, that sounds like something I could do.
Yeah.
Speaking of wandering in, you were a first-time PromoChat poster last week, and we love that. So tell us, how'd you find your way to PromoChat?
So I have, through the years, I did social media for my previous job, in between operations and sales and kind of a mixture of all of it. But I had sort of followed some people who are part of PromoChat, and I had seen, I had seen people posting about it. I just finally decided, you know what, I have a little time. I'm going to join and learn. I'm still somewhat newish to sales, so I'm just wanting to kind of soak up some knowledge and see what other people have to offer. So yeah.
Awesome. So we're always trying to get more people to join,
Yeah.
obviously. And we know we have a lot of people that follow the chat, but don't like to speak up because maybe they're, intimidated or scared, or they don't know how gifts work. But if you had any advice to a newbie that was, kind of afraid to jump in, what would you say?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, just try it out, and you can kind of talk as much or as little as you want. Honestly, you can sort of just maybe even start with just responding to people, or you don't have to necessarily answer the questions, I guess, if you don't have an answer. And there were definitely a couple where there was one about shipping, and I was like, I'm not good at shipping, and it's not, but I'm learning. You know, so I think just sort of, if you need to ease in. But I mean, I don't know, I'm kind of, my personality, I just like to jump in and do everything 100%. So
Oh, we love it.
yeah.
And even as someone who helps write the questions every week, a lot of times we'll be like, I got no answer for this,
Yeah.
but oh, that answer was great. I'll retweet that. And I'll hype the people that have good answers, and that's a great way of starting and getting into it.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Speaking of answers, let's talk about yours, because you had a great answer to one of our questions, and the fact that you were a first-time poster made it even better for us, because we love when that perfect storm happens. So our question was, we got a little silly this last chat. We had a prom theme, a promo prom, and so our question comes wrapped up in that theme. And we said, next comes the dress, the tux, and the formal attire. So how much attention do you pay to presentation? What's some of the best packaging you've ever seen? Your answer was, packaging matters. Especially in a bid, a client will receive lots of samples, so your packaging needs to stand out. I worked with someone who packaged all of the client's samples in a beautiful box with extra little goodies for the client. It was gorgeous.
Yep.
Can you tell us more about that packaging? Like, what did it look like? What made it stand out so much?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, and I think a lot of people have been involved in a bid or know of a bid situation, and a lot of times you have to send in samples. And, when you get a sample from a supplier, a lot of times it's not really packaged very pretty, or it's like a t-shirt that's folded but kind of just tossed into a bag. Not tossed, but it's just in a bag. And instead of a client receiving like 75 bags with just a product sitting in it, it was, she went the extra mile and got all of it sent to her, and she packaged it all in a really pretty box basket thing. And she added, like, candy and little goodies to kind of feed people. They love food. Doesn't. And I don't think she ended up getting the bid, but it still made a good impression. And I remember that was pretty early on in my sales career. And I just remember thinking, that's a really good idea, because when I get samples, sometimes I don't know who they're from until I open it and remember, oh yeah, I ordered this from Sandmar or whoever. And so being able to present it all and have, something with your logo, or even something like, Amazon has their tape, and that
Sure.
you always know it's from. So if you it's just a really good way to distinguish yourself from everybody else who's sending probably something similar or exactly the same. And, a lot of times I feel like bids are sometimes really close in pricing. And if that's the one thing that sets you apart, it may just push you over the edge just enough to get that contract or project or whatever it is.
Totally. And it's all part of like completing the experience, right? Like we don't want to send somebody just like a piece of a thing, and then they're like, all right, I have this thing, now what do I do with it? You want to create the experience for them so that they, even if you don't get that bid, you still planted that seed of, okay, that wasn't what I was looking for right now, but somewhere down the line, that sort of presentation, I'm going to need that for this high-end job or something like that.
Yeah. And that's something that I think is invaluable, especially if you don't get the bid. You set the expectation that you're always going to get a good experience and a good presentation, and deliver it on time and all the other things that are valuable. But a lot of times I think the visual packaging kind of gets left behind because you're just trying to make it there on time. But
Sure.
when you have the time, I think it really sets the bar high for yourself and for everybody else.
When we talk about like high-end bar setting, right, I always think of like the way Apple packages their products.
Yeah.
Like I'll open up my desk drawer and I'll have like it's full of old boxes from old Apple devices. I don't even have some of the devices anymore, but I kept the box because it felt like, yeah, it's beautiful and it feels like an object and a thing that you want to keep around. Obviously that's like super high bar to set. You might not send something that high quality every time, but still.
Right.
When you're working with a customer or a client, how do you educate them about the importance of packaging?
Well, I'm still kind of learning that. I've been pretty lucky that I've been able to work with customers who love packaging, especially because like I have one customer in particular who is in experiential marketing, and they just love packaging, and they do a lot of influencer marketing. And so we, have sent event invitations in like suitcases that have their logo on it. And like, it doesn't have to be a box. It just has to look good when you like create the experience of opening it.
Sure.
So I've been pretty lucky that a lot of my customers, I've just kind of learned by what they're looking for and realized, oh my gosh, this, their goal was, we want people to post on Instagram about this event and this whole campaign. And it worked because they had beautiful packaging, and that was the whole goal. So for me, educating customers, I more ask questions and say, okay, well, what are you trying to accomplish? Are they going to be opening this? Is it going to be sitting on their desk? Because sometimes if your customer is just going to, get a box of mugs and put something on each person's desk, they don't need a package that is going to shine necessarily. So I try to ask questions to make sure I'm not just saying, oh, you could do a custom box, or I try to make sure I'm talking about it where it's appropriate and where it will be received. But I think for me, educating customers is more about asking questions and understanding what your customer needs, and kind of providing a solution that's going to make it easy on them and, set you apart, and, oh, well, if you need it to look beautiful and you're sending this out to your salespeople as an invitation, why not make it look beautiful before you even get it? And you don't have to wrap it and touch it a million times. And so I think being solutions oriented instead of just an order writer really comes into play there.
Yeah, totally. And like in a way, right? If they're putting the mug on someone's desk, like if it's a welcome packet for a new employee or something like that, they wanted to, the mug in a way can become the packaging.
Make the package,
right? Yeah, you need kind of, we like to say zhuzh it up a bit. Our trend editor got everybody in the office saying that. But like you add some pens, you add the Post-it notes, you put a little bow on it, and there's the packet,
Great
right?
experience, yeah.
Yeah, literally thinking outside the box there.
Yeah.
Where can people find you online?
Okay, so I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn, just Nicole Diane Baker, first, middle, last. Twitter and Instagram is the same, and it's Nicoleoli159. Pretty simple.
Okay, great. Well, we look forward to seeing you on more promo chats. I hope you can make it more Wednesdays. I hope you can make it this Wednesday at noon Pacific. Great. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to help us with the deep dive. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. And okay, so before I forget the plug again, Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Twitter, #PromoChat. Thanks so much.